Welcome to GitHub Hot Today. Today's projects are LiteRT-LM, a high-performance inference framework for deploying large language models on edge devices. Shannon, an autonomous AI pentester that analyzes source code and executes real exploits to prove web vulnerabilities. And Hermes Agent, a self-improving AI agent with a built-in learning loop that runs across multiple platforms. LiteRT-LM is Google's open-source inference framework designed to run large language models directly on your edge devices. Think Android, iOS, desktop, even Raspberry Pi. No cloud dependency, no latency. The core advantage here is hardware acceleration. It taps into GPU and NPU on your device automatically. On an M4 MacBook, you're looking at over 7,800 tokens per second for prefill with Gemma 4e2b. It supports a wide range of models out of the box. Gemma 4, Gemma 3, 5.4, Quinn. You can grab the converted weights directly from their Hugging Face community page. Getting started is straightforward. If you just want to test a model without writing code, use the CLI, install it via UV or pip, then run a model straight from Hugging Face. For Python developers on Linux or macOS, the API is clean. Initialize the engine, create a conversation, and send messages. It supports streaming responses natively. Android devs get first-class support with Kotlin. The API integrates smoothly with coroutines. You can initialize the engine with GPU or NPU backend in just a few lines. Here's a real demo. This terminal app is built with the Kotlin API. It's running Gemma 3.1b locally, handling user input and streaming responses in real time. Multimodal capabilities are built in. You can pass images and audio directly in your messages. Just specify the vision or audio backend when initializing the engine. Function calling works offline too. Define your tools as regular Python or Kotlin functions. The model will call them automatically when needed, like fetching weather or calculating sums. For C++ users, there's a high-level conversation API. It handles prompt templating with Jinja, manages history, and supports constraint decoding for structured outputs like JSON. One thing to note, Windows support for Python is still upcoming. And while GPU acceleration is solid on most platforms, NPU support is currently limited to Android. If you're building apps that need on-device AI for privacy or latency reasons, LiteRT-LM is worth a look. Check the GitHub repo for examples and the Google AI Edge Gallery app for live demos. Shannon is an AI pentester for web apps and APIs that actually proves exploits instead of just listing theoretical risks. It runs a two-stage pipeline. First, agentic static analysis of your codebase. Then, autonomous dynamic penetration testing against the running app. Stage 1 builds a code property graph from your repo, traces data flows from sources to sinks, and uses LLM agents to validate each path for real exploitability. It catches SQL injection, XSS, SSRF, hard-coded secrets, and even business logic bugs like missing cross-tenant authorization checks. Stage 2 deploys 13 specialized agents across 5 phases: pre-recon, recon, vulnerability analysis, exploitation, and reporting. 5 parallel agents hunt for injection, XSS, SSRF, auth, and auths flaws. If they find nothing, the corresponding exploit agent skips entirely. The core principle is POC, or it didn't happen. Shannon never reports a vulnerability without a working proof-of-concept exploit. Here's what a real report looks like. SQL injection auth bypass, union-based data extraction, NoSQL operator injection, XXE file disclosure, all with reproducible steps. It also found idle vulnerabilities letting any user access other users' profiles, baskets, and feedback without authorization checks. You can run Shannon Lite for free on your own repos, or go pro for enterprise features like self-hosted runners where your code never leaves your infrastructure. The self-hosted runner model means the data plane runs entirely in your network using your own API keys. Keygraph only sees aggregate findings. If you're tired of SaaS tools crying wolf and pen tests arriving too late, Shannon might be worth a look. Hermes Agent is a self-improving AI agent built by Nous Research. Unlike typical chatbots, it has a built-in learning loop that creates skills from experience and remembers your preferences across sessions. It runs anywhere: your laptop, a $5 VPS, or serverless infrastructure like Daytona and Modo. You can talk to it from Telegram while it works on a cloud VM you never SSH into yourself. The core innovation is its persistent memory system. It maintains 2 files: memory.md for environment facts and learned conventions, and user.md for your preferences and communication style. Memory entries are injected into the system prompt as a frozen snapshot at session start. The agent manages its own memory via the memory tool. It can add, replace, or remove entries automatically. Hermes ships with 47 built-in tools organized into logical toolsets. You get web search, browser automation, terminal execution, file editing, and even sub-agent delegation out of the box. The terminal tool supports 6 backends: local, Docker, SSH, Singularity, Modal, and Daytona. For security, you can run the agent in an isolated container or on a remote server. Skills are on-demand knowledge documents following a progressive disclosure pattern. They are compatible with the agentskills.io open standard and can be shared across the community. The agent can create its own skills via the Skill Manage tool. When it figures out a non-trivial workflow, it saves the approach as a skill for future reuse. That's procedural memory in action. Installation takes 60 seconds with a one-line installer. It supports 20+ LLM providers including Nous Portal, OpenAI Codex, Anthropic, OpenRouter, and GitHub Copilot. Under the hood, Hermes uses a platform-agnostic core. One AI agent class serves CLI, gateway, ACP, batch, and API server. Platform differences live in the entry point, not the agent. The architecture follows 6 design principles: prompt stability, observable execution, interruptibility, platform-agnostic core, loose coupling, and profile isolation. One limitation to note: memory has a strict character limit to keep system prompts bounded. When memory is full, the agent needs to consolidate or replace entries before adding new ones. If you're building AI agents that need to learn from experience and adapt to your workflow, Hermes Agent is worth checking out. The GitHub repo has full docs and active community support. That's all for today's show. See you tomorrow.